host.
Hello, Kian.
Oh, I'm scared.
Hopefully. So let me start. Today's Halloween training session.
Today's Halloween.
No, tomorrow. But today is a Halloween training session, so a preparation for tomorrow's Halloween.
Yeah, how to be
And
a
I'm
ghost.
wearing a mask against Corona, a Halloween Corona mask. I don't know if you know this movie in Vietnam. Is it popular, this movie in Vietnam, where this mask appears?
The Scream, right?
Yes.
I just know this mask, but I haven't watched that movie.
Okay. Maybe I'm just too old because the movie is old too. So. Okay, so let's start. Today's topic is the VIN insertion, or the VIN code itself. And what a VIN is, you can Google around, for instance, Wikipedia. There's an article about the VIN number. Mainly, it is an identifier of a physical existing car, and it's under ISO certification. And there you can also see where you can find such this, let's say, serial number on the car. So there's different places where they add this information. Yeah, it's a unique code, and it started 1954 in the United States, and then it came much more popular, and also other manufacturers joined, and in the end it got a standardized format worldwide. So there's also another article. So VIN code means also the World Manufacturer Code, WMI. I can show you later where our codes are stored. I don't get air anymore. I need to remove that. So let's continue. Much better.
Thought you were using a filter of Zoom.
Yeah. Otherwise, I get sick. Yeah. So this is mainly how it started and where we are currently. You can also see which countries and manufacturers do use that code. And we do have also articles in our insight. Unfortunately, currently it's in German. It's from Eric, so I was a little bit, I didn't update it to English. I need to ask him if he can translate it, or maybe I do it for him. But yeah, you can use Google Translation. The code is 17 characters long, and it is built by, let's say, the first 3 characters are the manufacturer. Then there's the model information, and the engine with engine information it's in this part of the code. Then there's the year code, and this is where the manufacturer plant is. So so where the car was produced. And then the last part is a random number. No, not random. So it will get assigned by the manufacturer itself. So within this number, you can read stuff out. So yeah, which manufacturer it is, which type of car, in which year, and this one is for the physical existing unique car type that left the manufacturer or where it's produced. So whenever a car was produced and it left the manufacturer or this plant, it will get a code. And I come back later that we then know the serial and the optional equipment where it left the manufacturer, but still it can be different when it gets sold in Switzerland, but I come back to that later. Then we have in our admin, we have a VIN checker. We have a service where you can add such a serial number or a VIN number to see what the car configuration was when it left the manufacturer. And if you call this service with a VIN code, let's use, for instance, oh, sorry. Where do we have one? Let's use, for instance, this one. What it does now, it calls a service from Eurotax, which is under, I migrated it to .NET standard already. It's under the AS24 infrastructure.eurotax.win. This is a connected service. I don't know if you know that this feature from Visual Studio. You can add a connected service. In that case, I use the Microsoft WCF web service reference provider. And then you can add a WSDL file endpoint. And based on that, it's a SOAP. It's a description of a SOAP service. When you add this URL, it will get all the information from the service about the structure. So whenever you do a post and the endpoints, wherever you do a post on an endpoint, you already have an object there for, you have a client, all done, automized via this connector here. There were already solutions for old Visual Studio implementations. This one is the new one, which is also now under .NET standard.
They don't have the API. They just have the WS service.
Yeah, they have an API, but it's based on SOAP. It's not a RESTful service. Okay. And I don't know. I mean, you're young guys. I don't know if you remember SOAP, but there's still a lot
10
of
years ago.
Yeah, there's still a lot of services out there. So that's why your Eurotax, for instance, uses SOAP technologies there still. But no problem for Visual Studio. They support that, so we can use a generator based on the, we call it VSDL file, WSDL file, which contains the SOAP service description. It's similar to what Swagger does for REST, you know, this WSDL. And what it does is it calls Eurotax, give me information about this physically existing car. And Eurotax does then forward this request to the manufacturers. They translate the response from the manufacturer into Eurotax data and return it back to us. So that's the way how it goes. And if the service breaks, it can break on our side, it can break on the Eurotax side, but it can even break on the manufacturer side. And there you can already see yeah, let's say the problem, the manufacturer data can be different to the Eurotox data because they do a mapping too. So whatever, if Eurotox doesn't support any kind of manufacturer information, it won't get translated. So this data will get lost. What I get back is all the information the service gives me, and then also information about the equipment. But this is also already translated into our data structure. And it contains, for instance, a flag where it says if this is part of the equipment. Of course, for standard equipment, this check is always true, you know. But the cool thing is, for optional equipment, you have ones that are not included when they left the manufacturer, but others do have a true. So this one, when the car left the manufacturer, there was this optional equipment added to this car. So we get information about that. Let's see, this is raw data. You can play around with that. Of course, it generates costs on our side, but not that much.
Sorry, Oli, does it generate costs on Int as well?
No, not on Int, but on
No.
live. I'm on live here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use a test system for Int, so it shouldn't generate any costs. And that's also a difficult topic. You know, the manufacturer, there's kind of like contracts between the manufacturer and the Eurotox. So for test purpose, Eurotox is allowed to cache data. So whenever we have a request, they just need to call the manufacturer once, and then they can store it on their own. But for others, like when we use it in real time and so on, it generates costs on every request. So I did a VIN insertion now. That's the same. I added the same one as I did here on the insertion. And what you can see here is, okay, all serial equipment is selected. That's good, and it needs to be so. But what you also have is you have the optional equipment as well. So whatever, when the car left the company was set, the manufacturer was set, you see it here under serial optional equipment. Now there's a but. Not that but, a but. You know, it can be that if cars are getting imported to Switzerland, that the importer does change data or add some stuff or remove maybe some stuff, maybe not, that doesn't make sense, but maybe add some stuff for Swiss cars. This isn't there. This part, we just get information from how the car left the manufacturer, not what later happened. You know, when, for instance, the importer imports the car, they do something with the car, and then they give it to the dealers out there, and maybe also the dealers do add stuff and so on. That can be the case too. So whatever we have with VIN is the information about the car when it left the manufacturer. Correct, Tati?
Yes, I agree. And I've got another question. Do we map colors as well? I don't remember.
Colors?
Yeah.
I don't think so, no. Ah, maybe, wait. I don't think maybe the original color information. No, we don't have the color information, but maybe
the original text body color or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we display. let's see. No, we don't set it. But in my opinion, that's bad. We should set that. I don't know why. Because we have information about the color description here. And for we use this, I don't know if you know that this field, the original text body color ID. You know, there's a lot of colors out there. Let's say my car is deep ocean shark blue, or sand, desert sand light gray, or yeah, whatever. So the colors can have very weird specific names. So that's why it's hard for us to map this color information, for instance, also from OS24 I. And we store it as the original color information into our database when it comes over the import. And we also display it on our website. Let me, but that's another topic.
And we had to make it editable during insertion process as well, if we map it.
Let me see, for instance, well, that's a cool thing. Gletscherweißmetall. Huh? That means glossier white metal. And we displayed here. If it would work. So we again have a problem on it. We see on live. It's much more reliable. Yeah, we have that too. Or phantom black metal. Phantom black metal. Let's see that this one. There we go. Phantom schwarz metal, phantom black metal. Metallise. Okay, we add this one on our side. Doesn't make that much sense. So over the import, we set this original body color information. I think we don't support that here. So the user is not able to set it here. Maybe that could also be a user experience improvement. I don't know. Yeah. So go back to the VIN insertion. Where were we? So as I said, the VIN code supports us in different kinds of information. About it, we would have the color there. Then we have the optional equipment as well. So this is, but for instance, we don't have the Typenschein, because the Typenschein will happen later when it comes to Switzerland and so on. So this is another process. We don't get the Typenschein based on the VIN insertion, and that's also important to understand. So even VIN has the advantage of having more detailed information about the car when it left the manufacturer. But again, it can vary here still because of the import to Switzerland. And we also don't have the Typenschein number. We need to, and that's why you can also see, here, we don't have an energy label with VIN because we need the Typenschein, and the Typenschein we don't get by VIN. So we need to add a VIN, a Typenschein number. Now for this car, I don't know the VIN number. Maybe I can find it here on int. It's used a lot of time. Oh man, certification code. Oh, unfortunately, I don't have a. Oh, there. Yeah. Let's use this one. And if we set the Typenschein, let me see if I set the model year and months also correctly. 2015. The second, because that's correct. It existed during that time. Let's go further. Let's go back. And ta-da, we have an energy label. Because we added the certification number and we have the right information that we can get the energy data from Astra.
May I ask another question, Ollie?
No.
Was there never an initiative that Eurotax could add those certification codes to VIN data?
Yeah, I don't know if a vehicle comes to Switzerland, it gets this number, right? This Typenschein, the certification code. Mm-hmm. So maybe Eurotax also assigns that number to the chassis code information on their side. They do kind of like that mapping. Mm-hmm. But I mean, when I look at what the service returns me, I don't see the Typenschein currently. Maybe there's possibilities to do so. I would need to ask Eric. But as you can see, you need a lot of domain knowledge to know what you get from the manufacturer, how Eurotax interacts with this manufacturer, how they do the mapping, and in the end, we also do mappings for our make model structure to the Eurotax one. So Eurotax does the same for Eurotax and the manufacturer one. And you know, things can get bad, can go bad. It depends on how you implement the stuff and how carefully the people are who are doing this mapping stuff. But information can get lost on that way or be incorrect. But the advantage is, if we need to go to the manufacturer again, directly, we would have more reliable data. But on our side, that would be a huge effort to adopt so many manufacturer services, do so many mappings and so on. That's why it's much easier for us to go over the Eurotax way. And if we also add Auto-E, for instance, the insertion over Auto-E for a second provider to be secure if there's something going wrong with Eurotax and we cannot use it anymore, they also support that service. So they also have a mapping engine from Auto-E data to the manufacturers out there for being able to support VIN requests. Yeah, in the settings, you can set a lot of stuff. For instance, enable the VIN service or disable it, enable the fee or do it for free. You can enable a VIN duplicate check. So wherever you add a VIN and it already exists in the database, you're not allowed to insert it. I think this is false currently. Of course, this is true currently. And for instance, when the VIN service breaks and Eurotox is, or this service is offline for, let's say, 4 hours, we can disable the VIN mask on AutoScout side. Now we have the resilience pattern. Maybe we can do that automatically. I don't know if it's implemented that way currently. I don't think so. So we set it on our own. Experience from the past, it happened that the service was not available for some hours. Currently, I don't have any statistics information how frequently this happens, but I never heard that we had that many problems in the past. I mean, even if the form is there and the service doesn't work, we will return an error message. And of course, we don't, that the customer doesn't have to pay in terms of failure. It's also important. Yeah, we have other flags for being able to do pre-checks. There's just a small method from Eurotox just for checking if the VIN is available or not to get the data and so on. So I'm pretty sure we don't pay that amount of money for a pre-check, maybe nothing. Yeah, then there's the product VIN fee. Yeah, sorry, Tati. You're muted. Oh, you didn't want to wink me.
Sorry, we have to leave. We have another meeting.
Oh.
Sorry for interruption.
Fine. Okay, then we have a product therefore. So wherever we did a VIN insertion, we have a VIN fee product.
Sorry, Oli.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got the performance issue on the insertions when we select the model or maker. Could it be related to this one when we call to Eurotask to validate data or something like that?
You mean the insertion without VIN? The normal one, our make and model?
Yeah.
No, that's not
that issue. It's not related to this one.
No, it's not related to this one. You mean that the population of the models are very slow?
Yeah.
No, that's on our side, and that has to do with the drill down algorithm. It's not performing well. There's a lot of logic in there. I personally don't understand why we did it that complicated, but that's another story. But it's slow still, so we need to improve that. I agree. But also this insertion, I don't have the actual statistics in mind about the insertion, but I'd say most dealers or users out there, they do it over this way, you know, with because you have a card paper where you have all this information and you can add it here. So this is hidden, and it's good that it's hidden because, let's say, 95% of the cars can be inserted that way. The older ones, like older than 1980, and the American ones, I explained that in the insertion training. They need to do it over that way. But you know, the problem here, you don't use the certification, the certification code like we do here. So in the end, you don't have the environment energy information. You will have it if you add the Typenschein on the next screen and also the correct year and so on. But we prefer that people are inserting that way because that's the easiest way. Also, the subset of cars is much lower to select, even if we have a drill down selection. You know, we have much fewer numbers of car. So it's, if you have a huge list here, and we had that in the past, it's hard for the dealer to select the right one. So best way to do an insertion, of course, it would be the chassis code, but then you miss the certification code, and you need to add it later. And if you don't add it later, you have this energy information missing. You know, as I'm telling all that stuff to you, it is obvious to me because I know how the system reacts, or the algorithm looks like, but it's not really obvious for the user. I mean, there's written, your advantage is less effort and correct data. Yeah, what does that mean? And do the people read that? I don't know. But this is the way that the users out there should do the insertion, or this one, because then you don't need to add all these optional equipment stuff, because it's already there. And who? I mean, okay, you Amici guys, you don't own a car, or almost a lot of people do have bikes and so on. But here in Switzerland, a lot of people do own cars. So that's why we know how to add, or what did I want to tell? Yeah. Yeah. So let's come back to the VIN code. Whenever you did an insertion, yeah, let me check this one. Yeah, let's choose one. Oh, yeah, what I wanted to ask is, or say, we Swiss guys, we do own cars, but you know, when I come here, I'm pretty sure I don't know what my car has. So it's really hard. It's really hard for me to tell. Okay, do I have a smoker package? I don't know. I have kind of like this smoker adapter, but I use it for my navigation, manual navigation, or my portable navigation, to have the power from that part. So yeah, I don't know if people really knows what to select here. So that's kind of, our insertion is hard. And you know, if you don't do it the right way, you lose information about searchable equipment. And if someone searches for a car and your car won't be found, but you would have, for instance, sport seats. So it's a shame that no one will find your car. You know, you don't, here you select very detailed. You don't check the searchable equipment, but based on what the user selects here, we map this information to the searchable equipment. So in the end, whatever you have here, so that's important to know. That's why it is important for the user to select all the right stuff, but who does know that? And currently the VIN insertion is not available for private users, but I think we are in contracts with Eurotax to be able to support also private users with the VIN number. It would be the easiest way for private users. We once had a POC, 2-3 years ago, where we tried to make a picture of the paper of the car, this one, and then it tried to find out which chassis code, VIN number the car has, and then populates it immediately. I look, that would be the greatest thing we could have for doing an insertion, being able to make a picture of this paper and all the information's there, also the optional ones. Sounds fairly simple, right? Problem was, it was not easy to detect the numbers. So in a 0, to see what a 0 and a O was difficult, because the 0 and the O is very similar. And then the number 5 and the as, the character as, was very similar. So it was hard for the recognition system to find out the number. So that's one thing. We used machine learning technologies, OCR technologies, and so on. We tried a lot of stuff. We failed there. And also the second thing is, just around 50% of the car makes are under this VIN standardization. It will grow, but not all are there. And that's also one thing you can see on Inside. There's a list of makes who do support VIN. So here, for instance, says Nissan coming soon. So all these makes are available. I mean, there are a lot of popular makes already. So all these ones, this would work. So we had 2 problems there, like not being able to really good code detection. And the other thing is it covered for just 50%. So that's why we stopped that. But maybe if we tackle insertion again next year, and we can look at that again. Also, another topic is the plate. Every car needs to, if you go to the government, you register your car, you get the plate number, and also with this plate number, you would be able to get information about the car. So this would be also a possibility to improve the insertion. There's legal stuff we need to tackle, and as far as I could see, Car4U began supporting that. But some plates, if you go to register yourself, you can say, no, I don't want that the publicity will be able to get data based on my plate. So there's kind of like privacy protection law also behind. So this is, you see, it's also not 100% super duper way of being able to do an insertion. So yeah, I mean, I know all the internals again. So whenever we tackle the insertion topic, we need to be sure, we need to know our system, and we need to try to think about, especially the UX guys, how we can support the people out there the best way, so that it's obvious for them how to insert best their type of car. Maybe there can be a question, is your car older than 1980, or do you have an American car? And if you say no or yes, you already go to the right type of insertion. So you can kind of like maybe support it that way. But that's off topic of VIN codes. Yeah, but very interesting. And I can tell you there's a lot of potential. We can improve the insertion there. VIN obviously
Without you, right?
is a good part.
Without you.
Yeah, and VIN is one very powerful tool. Yeah, to be able to do an insertion, so you have not that much to do anymore. Of course, there's some consumption data you still need to add. You know, the kilometers, of course, and the price, but mainly the other stuff. Okay, the Typenschein and the first registration date, color, but all the other stuff is already set. But as I said, it can be that there's some other stuff to select based on if the importer or the dealer added stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Again, there's stuff that could be missed on Eurotalk side, but it would be there from the manufacturer side. So there's a lot written about how the mapping has been done and how reliable it is. Also in German, we need to see that we can translate it. Yeah, this one I already showed you. Yeah, there's also a link to Eurotalks where they explain stuff about the VIN. And this, for instance, we don't call it VIN here, it's the VMI codes, but VMI is the World Manufacturer Code, so it's mainly it's the same. And as you can see, there's the manufacturer, so for VW South Africa, Ford South Africa, and so on. And there we tell we set the flag when VIN is supported or not. Renault, Samsung, Ford, Chong, whatever. So yeah, all the information's here. Volvo is there, has different VMI codes. Because as I said, there's also different production plants out there. Yeah, that's mainly it in terms of VIN or VMI. Any questions so far? Did I miss anything? So here also it's said Eurotax guarantees a good quality after the production year 2007. So cars that are older than 2007 to have a good VIN quality. But there's also older cars accepted. Yeah. There's also a VIN insertion page. And as you can see, who's owning this VIN topic, it's mainly Eric Sagara and the product support team. Which is led by Alex. Yeah, I mean, these informations are also in the database and the VMI codes table. What's unclear about VIN? Oh, one thing also. You can see the VIN code also on the detail if you add the VIN. Even if you don't insert by VIN. Sorry. Let's use that one. That's a Mercedes. You'll be able to set the, where is it? Wagennummer, is it this one? You see, even me, I don't understand it. Huh? Scary. Well, that's the customer vehicle code. There's a serial number. Ah, yeah, Fahrgestellnummer. So that's the chassis code. So we can set it here. I mean, that's not the correct one. It doesn't do a VIN service call, so you don't need to pay and so on, and it doesn't populate this equipment, but you can set it if you want to. And it will be shown here, but dealers are able to disable the VIN number. Some, they want to disable the VIN number, and there's a setting. There's a setting. Let's see. On our account. Hide chassis code, true. So means wherever I add a VIN insertion over our account, the VIN number won't be shown. So it hides this number. So every dealer can say, yeah, I use VIN insertion, and I add the VIN number, but please don't show it on the detail. So then it's hidden. So all these settings are also written here. There's a mask one for masking the chassis code. To be honest, I didn't found any case where we use that, so maybe it's not there anymore. And we can also say, let's show the VIN number on our home customer interfaces. So these were requests from dealers out there. We said, okay, let's just put it in the account settings where we can set stuff explicitly for accounts. So we are able to say, even if they use VIN insertion, we have the possibility that the number won't be shown on the detail. Yeah. If we have, for instance, where chassis code is not null and status is this one, and the account ID equals ours. So these are available or active vehicles on int with a chassis code. Does the detail not work? Oh, no, it works for this one. It's not there. You see, there's no chassis code shown. That's because we hide the chassis code for this deal. If we would remove that flag, it would be shown. Yeah. Question? Thanks a lot. Especially Vietnam, you have almost weekend. I mean, you can always ask me if you have questions. Otherwise, I wish you a good weekend.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.